Hello there, audience. So before we get started, do you guys like spiders? I don't know, maybe you guys like spiders. Check this guy out. Holy crap, guys. That is a big spider. Just getting close to it like that makes me nervous. Wow. That thing is absolutely massive. I've seen these before. They're all over here in the state of Florida, so yeah, welcome to Florida. If you don't want to deal with spiders, then this is probably not the best place for you. All right. Hello there, people of the internet. How is everybody doing? I'm doing all right, thanks for asking. So today I'm out here just kind of shooting my my Krag rifle, and while I was out here firing, I was just kind of, you know, in my head thinking to myself some different stories and whatnot that I could tell on the YouTube channel. And I remembered something about a story because I'm over here firing hand-loaded ammunition. I remember talking to a gentleman about the Vetterli rifle. Do you guys know about the Vetterli rifle? If you do know about the Vetterli rifle, then hey, good for you. If you don't, it's pretty much the predecessor to the Carcano, the Italian Carcano, and a lot of your Vetterli rifles are chambered in 6.5 Carcano. But these chamberings require a downloaded version of the 6.5 Carcano. You don't want to put in the full power round. The rifle's just not designed to be able to sustain the pressures that this full power 6.5 Carcano round would put off. And I was thinking to myself, yeah, I mean, how do I describe this? There are plenty of times where you can download ammunition, like decrease the amount of gunpowder that you put inside of the ammunition in order to decrease the pressures inside of the ammunition and decrease the velocities of the projectile and just decrease the recoil, make it a lot less potent of a round. There's definitely really good ways to do that, depending on the powder it is that you're actually running. But I wanted to talk about where doing that to an extent gets dangerous, and I definitely recommend that if you don't know where to stop whenever it comes to downloading ammunition, then I would absolutely recommend, you know, looking it up. A lot of manufacturers will tell you different procedures for how much of their powder you actually need to put into the cartridge. So I am out here with some 30-40 Krag. This is just 150 grain projectiles. I've got 40 grains of IMR 4064 in this stuff, and a properly sized and trimmed case. I do not have a 30-40 crimp die, so I'm just going to be single loading these. The crimp dies are not essential for reloading purposes, but boy do they make it more helpful. And the last thing I want is under recoil a projectile to pop out of a cartridge and I'll get gunpowder all in the gun and I gotta clean that out, and these 30-40 Krags are not the easiest to take apart, so I'm just gonna freaking single load my shots. I ordered a 30-40 crimp die. It will be in. I don't think I'd have any problems, but I'd much rather know for a fact that I don't have any problems. So whenever you load ammunition, these right here are downloaded projectiles, you know, downloaded cartridges, just because I'm out here plinking steel at 100 yards with the 30-40 Krag. If I was going hunting or something like that, I would absolutely load these to full specs. So I figured while I was out here launching some lead downrange, I would go ahead and make a video talking about when downloading ammunition actually starts to become dangerous. So whenever you load a rifle cartridge, the powder inside of the cartridge is designed to burn from the back of the cartridge to the front of the cartridge as it propels that projectile downrange. The powder level is supposed to be in a certain position in comparison to the primer that is actually on the cartridge. And if you have such a small load of gunpowder inside of your cartridge to the point to where it's below the position it's supposed to be at with that primer, then once that primer detonates, the powder, instead of burning back forward, will actually burn top to bottom, and that can definitely produce some issues whenever it comes to the amounts of pressure that is inside of the cartridge. Or I've also seen a couple of instances where this has happened. Once the primer goes off, the bullet itself will actually be pushed out of the cartridge and it will get stuck in the barrel like a squib load, Now the dimensions for the detonation of that gunpowder is significantly different than what it would be if the bullet had stayed inside of the cartridge. And the pressure curve is going to be dramatically different. And as a result, you get way increased pressure, especially whenever something like that happens. If the primer goes off and the bullet is just pushed out of the barrel, or pushed down into the barrel before the gunpowder really has a chance to get set off, build its pressures, and launch the projectile, then you definitely start to deal with situations that are not ideal. With a downloading of what I have here, normally this would call for about 44 grains. The downloading procedures that I have done is not significant enough to have to worry about any sort of increased pressure. And I see that in the cartridges that I fired. I mean, I've been doing this for quite some time. But I recommend, if you do not know what to look for whenever it comes to the cartridges that you're using and how much powder that you're supposed to put in, there's a maximum load for powder, which is the load that people typically use. And then there's like a starting load for powder whenever it comes to your projectiles. And if you want to go with the starting load, that is the beginning safe procedures for the amount of gunpowder that you can put inside of your cartridges and still have a proper pressure curve, and you don't have to risk your gun exploding. I tell you what, I'm firing Hornady soft points, 150 grain projectiles. I've had them for quite some time. I don't really load any kind of 308 projectile diameter bullet, but these right here are incredibly accurate. I can see on my steel where I'm smacking this thing. Let me grab another round. You know what? Just because this is a Krag rifle and it's really unique, I just feel like loading from the magazine. I'm gonna do this delicately because that's a non-crimped cartridge, but bam, right there into the chamber. Perfect. But whenever I was thinking about a Vetterli rifle, which I might actually get, if you want to get one of those and actually shoot it, you need to be able to download the ammunition that you're running. Now, not all powders can be downloaded, the same as all other powders. There's a certain limit to certain powders. It all depends on, how fine the powder is, how fast the burn rate is, how fast the pressure climbs. There's a lot of factors that go in to downloading ammunition for whatever rifle it is that you're wanting to use. Oh no, here I go. I stand on this little piece of wood right here to help me. I'm just a little bit too short to be able to comfortably use the tree right here. So I just have this piece of wood that I use and I stand on it. You know what? I'm having a good time. I do not know the loadings for the 6.5 Carcano in the Vetterli rifle. I'm going to say that now. I've never used a Vetterli rifle. I've never loaded for it. But I do know that you have to download your ammunition. I just don't know the amount. Like with this right here, I'm only downloaded by about 4 grains of gunpowder. But I'm pretty sure for the Vetterli rifle, you have to download a pretty significant amount in order to achieve the pressures that you need to achieve for that thing. I tell you what though, 4 grains of powder does not sound like a lot until you pull the trigger, and the recoil difference between these and a full power round is pretty substantial. As a matter of fact, I got a couple of full power rounds right here. These ones are factory crimp dies, or factory crimp cartridges, so I'm just gonna take this bad boy, plop it right there, and we're gonna load it from the magazine. I love the magazine inside this Krag. I like the Mauser magazine too, which was ultimately adopted by the United States, but I really like the magazine in the Krag rifle. I just like being able to open the gate and plop a handful of rounds in there and then slam it closed and go about your day. Oh goodness. Yeah, that is a substantial amount more recoil than my downloaded range plinking ammunition. This right here is my hunting ammunition. You know what? Why not? God, I'm having such a good time here. I wish that I had a factory crimp die. It's on its way. I'm just kind of sitting here waiting for it to come in the mail. This way I could load from the magazine, because I'd love to just bang, bang, bang I also got myself a bunch of 3040 Crag brass on the way too. I've been rocking the same 20 brass casings for a little while now, and you can only reload them so many times. I'm definitely due for more. Every time I hit the steel, it moves a little bit. But whenever I was hitting it with my range ammo, my downloaded 3040 Crag ammunition, it would move, you know, enough for me to be able to see it. But then I hit it with the hunting load, and it just fucking, it threw it back, the target. Man, that was awesome. All right, well, we'll walk down and have a look at the target here in a second, but before we do that, I'm gonna go ahead and do the outro here. My goodness, it is very humid out here. It's not even that hot, but boy is it humid. That's Florida for you. That's Florida. Welcome to the jungles of Florida. So folks, thanks for watching. Like the video, description down below has a link to all sorts of stuff. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. I think that's all I say in my outros. So we're gonna go ahead and walk down to our target down there, and we're gonna have a look and see what it is that we're actually dealing with. All right, here is our target that we are currently shooting at. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 rounds, and by the looks of all the crap right there, we probably hit something that was holding up the target right here. I got a bunch of crap that I just used to hold up the target, and every time the target starts to sag, I'll push it this way and just kind of push the crap back right there, and now I have a target again. So there we go. 1, 2, 3, 4 shots right there, and that is our target. I do not know where the other ones hit, because like I said, it looks like they hit somewhere in the crap right there, because we have a lot of disruption, is what I'm going to call it, on the paint of the target. This was a freshly painted target, and obviously it no longer is. Been a little while since I've done this. Bonnie and Clyde be damned. Poor man's Garen. It's a shame that bolt action shotguns aren't more mainstream.